Dear ones, it seems as if everything you hold dear is slipping away without recourse. Such is not true. But what you once knew and depended on is no more, as both your inner and outer worlds shift from fear to love. You likely do not perceive much love, only heightened fear and hate. Such is as prophesied for those in 3D power feel their power slipping away, either through the natural process of aging or others no longer willing to follow. And has been true for Earth eons, cruelty is the 3D go-to for retaining or gaining power. The fear powermongers generate has almost always led to cohesiveness and, therefore, the power they desire. But because those 3D antics are no longer viable, those in 3D power create more fear-based constraints only to discover that instead of drawing humans to them, the majority is falling away to create a different, more loving world. The shifts by those no longer of 3D, infuriate those in 3D power who continue to increase the fear factors so that they can maintain control. Only to discover that their 3D fear tactics in this new world are creating the opposite effect. Thus, powermongers are finding themselves more isolated than in control. Those of you who have transcended 3D find the angry, fearful antics of 3D abhorrent, forcing you to create a different lifestyle. A lifestyle that may seem odd to you initially, but one that allows you to move beyond the fear and anger. Even though many of you are just initiating this beyond 3D phase, the level of fear and anger is likely much higher than you are accustomed to from your leaders or non-family members. Even though you may have been fearful in your home of origin, this fear is likely more intense. Not because you were treated appropriately by those who were supposed to care for you, but because you knew you had an out after a certain age or specific steps were taken. You might have lived in extreme fear, but you had some sense of power as you aged or moved. The fear you are exploring now is global, with seemingly no chance of escape, as your emotional, financial, and physical health are destroyed or denied. In addition, your innate caretaker being is coming to the forefront, not only for yourself but also for others who are frightened or treated beyond what you thought possible in your world. It is time to go within once more. Something you have done repeatedly through the various transition phases. What is happening to you? What can you create, invent, shift, or change so that the pieces of fear that are falling upon you are no longer frightening or concerning? And how can your feelings be enhanced to the point where you feel comfortable in the world you are living in or creating? Ignore what is happening in your 3D world, for those who have transitioned will be forced, as you have, to shift their lives into something meaningful. The ongoing fear, perpetuated by the media and those of the 3D world, offers you little. You are no longer part of 3D. Every fearful act being displayed is merely those in 3D power feeling the loss of that power. Allow that to be. Then create your own world of power. How do you wish to live your life? What seems more interesting than the daily news reports? How can you reduce your interactions with those of 3D? What do you want your life to be? You will not forsake those enmeshed in 3D fear, but instead demonstrate how they, too, can create a life of peace and joy despite what appears to be happening around them. Those in 3D are extremely fearful and becoming more so daily. And instead of reducing the fear by calming those following them, 3D powermongers are amplifying the fear factor, encouraging more humans to leave their sphere of influence in the 3D realm. Your role at this tremulous time is to provide a beacon for those who no longer wish to follow the 3D dictates of fear and anger. And the only way you can create that role is for you to leave the 3D power influencers, knowing they cannot harm you if you are no longer one of their followers. Stand up and say no to yourself and continue to say no whenever something makes you fearful or angry. You are no longer of 3D, and neither is the earth. But until those of you beyond 3D stake your claim of peace and joy, the fear will continue. In a sense, you are a battered person refusing to return to your fearful home. So be it. Amen.